with England, because it's been announced today that Conor Gallagher is going to start for England tomorrow in place of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Henry Wright, how much do you think this is going to improve us?
Well, we'll have more energy in there. Whether it improves us, I don't know. I'm like watching that Denmark game. I was, in the pub, large and in charge, 8 beers deep. We score a goal. We sit there.
Hang on. I've met you. There's no way your skinny frame can take 8 beers, bro.
I'm not skinny anymore. This camera is doing
eight
pints. Justice, mate. If I stand up, this beer
for all the younger viewers. I see. I'm going to do an American Pie reference, which the younger viewers still won't get. If a guy ever tells you that he slept with 10 women, divide it by 3. Okay. If a man tells you I did 8 pints in the pub, divide it by 3.
8 pints in 4 hours is it's not a huge amount. Like, let's be, it's £2 pints an hour.
Right.
Yeah, I was in there after we go 1-0 up as always. And then that game performance against Denmark, genuinely, out of all the England games I've watched in my life, as a performance level, it was soul destroying. I know Jamaica didn't play well the other night against Mexico, but that was a better performance. I actually watched that game. What is it? Midday? Is that the right phrase? Midday? I'm here. Yeah, that was a better performance. The England game against Denmark, genuinely, it was embarrassing.
Sorry, can you stop again? I need to stop the show again. Say that phrase again.
I'm pretty sure it's midday. It means I'm here, right?
See the way I'm hearing, you're saying middayer.
No, it's basically like saying I'm here midday. But the way Henry's saying it, can you say it to him on it?
Well, midday. Well, however you say it, you know what I'm trying to say.
Henry, just put the accent on it. Henry, go on.
Midday. Is that right? I'll probably do that. But yeah, so the performance, the actual Jamaica performance against Mexico, with no Leon Bailey, with no, I can't remember who's the right sided centre back they normally have. He wasn't there. England had their best 11 against Denmark. We're genuinely so bad to watch. We are the worst performing team in terms of an overall performance at the Euros. Like, we're so bad. Is Conor Gallagher coming in for Trent genuinely going to make that much of a difference? Probably not. With Trent, you get that. You know he can play that long ball in behind. As soon as he gets in the ball, Bukayo Saka makes that run. Yes, Conor Gallagher's going to give us energy. Yes, he can. He's a great ball carrier, but I don't see a difference he's going to make. I'm amazed that Gordon or Palmer have not had any minutes yet. I mean, that front three, personally, I love Harry Kane so much, but he has got to do more pressing in the next game. And as soon as Watkins come on, you saw that. Does Conor Gallagher provide any of this? I'm scratching my head thinking, why is he getting in the team? If for whatever reason we lose that game against Slovenia and Denmark win, we're second in the group. Like, we can't be taking Slovenia lightly. We have an awful record.
We have to win. We have to win this game. I want to throw this out to the panel, right? And I'm not sure if everybody here backed England, supports England. I know Paddy doesn't, which is obvious. He's a Paddy, so I don't expect him to back England. But I feel like it isn't even about winning. I think we have to win, but I think we have to put in a performance. If we have got to have any hope of genuinely progressing, this is the game where a performance and a togetherness must come. Surely,
I think I want England to do well. I'll tell you, obviously, Jamaica is my forefront and then England after. But I think England fans would prefer a draw with an identity than a win and play poorly. I think it's actually got to that point. They want to see some sort of identity.
It's the performance level.
100%. I don't know what Paddy thinks. I've always said Trent's not a midfield. Sometimes my fan base is midfielder. Sometimes the fan base is screaming out for him because of his range of pass and put him in the midfield. Just because you have a good range of pass and he's one of the best technically gifted footballers, it doesn't mean you can play midfield, because when you play midfield, you have to have 360 vision. You have to scan. And what I saw in that game, Trent doesn't scan enough. He's not really aware what's happening in front of him. I've always said, play him right back or just don't play him at all. Because at right back, you're at the touchline. You can see the whole pitch. You can literally see the whole pitch. When you're in that middle, yes, we know what you can do on the ball, but he doesn't scan enough. And I've said there's an argument to start Walker, because against the better opposition, against your Leao's, your Mbappe's, he's probably more equipped with his athleticism. However, Trent in the past season not been as bad as people think he's been defensively. It's his application that's let him down. But for me, I want to see him play right back or don't play him in the middle at all. For me, Kobe Mino or Wharton needs to be in that midfield. We have no control. It's just too frantic. It is just way frantic.
It's a crazy decision for me. Paddy, from an outsider, and I'm talking Paddy, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call you Patty instead of Patrick, instead of Paddy, just so we know the difference. But Paddy, like, as an outsider looking in, can you understand why Conor Gallagher is coming in? I know he's more experienced than Wharton. He's more experienced than Mainu. But can you see him helping to control that midfield better than them two?
No, I think he should be third choice out of those three. But I do think, anyone's going to struggle and look poor in that midfield in a Southgate system because he doesn't have an identity. Like, England don't have a style of play, and you're just kind of experimenting with Trent, just dumping him in there. And it's just a shame that he's being used as the scapegoat. But I do kind of agree. I think it's a different ball game, quite literally, playing from the right, having the whole pitch in front of you, being able to spray balls versus just being in the midfield. I do think Trent with time can apply himself there. But I do think it's probably right that the experiment is probably brought to an end. But if you think Conor Gallagher is the answer to your prayers, I'm afraid to tell you, you need a new God because, I don't see that's a backward step even then because Conor Gallagher is fair play to him. He's stealing a living. I don't know how he's got himself on the plane here, but Kobe Mainu and Adam Wharton are going to feel very hard done by not getting the call up. I do not know what the appeal is with Conor Gallagher. And if I was an Englishman, I would rather Trent even than Gallagher. I just don't see what he brings to the table at all.
I think, you know what? It's like you guys are saying, the experiment talk in the second or third game of a international tournament when Southgate's been in charge for 8 years is diabolical. And obviously, I'm an England fan as well. I want England to do well. But as soon as you knew Southgate was the manager, you lose hope because this guy is useless. The fact that he's talking about experimenting and not knowing when he's been in charge for 8 years is insane. And the fact that we don't have no identity, we don't play a left-sided player as in a left wing on the left wing. We don't play an actual left-footed left back on the left-hand side. That means the whole left pitch of the whole left-sided of the pitch is negated and null and void. And he still doesn't know his strongest 11. He doesn't play to the players' strengths. You have world-class players all over the pitch, and you don't play to any of their strengths. You shoehorn players in that don't fit, like as in Foden playing on the left wing. As brilliant as Foden is, he's not a left winger. You play Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in the world, and you make him average because you don't play a system that actually suits him. I'm hearing people on here saying that Harry Kane needs to press and run. He's never done that in his life. Never done that in his life. If that's what you want from Harry Kane, then drop him because that's not what you're going to get.
No, but he can press. I know he's not going to be pressed like Watkins, but we've seen him in a Tottenham team. He has pressed, but you are right. He doesn't have runners off the ball.
Yeah, exactly. If he doesn't have runners off the ball, he's not able to drop deep and play in a Son or play in whoever on the other side. You're not going to get the best of Kane. Harry Kane's comfortably one of the best strikers in the world, and he looked absolutely awful in that team. Watkins looked better because obviously the way we play, but it's just Gareth Southgate all over, man. And anytime you come up against a decent team, as in a top 20 team in the world, a team that actually can play, we're going to just get battered. Like, this team has no identity, man. It's just crazy. It's horrible to watch. It's just, it's not good. It's not
good. A thing that keeps buying Southgate time is people saying his runs in these tournaments, the World Cup and the last Euros. What top team in those times have England beaten? And I'm not even trying to hate. I'm just being honest.
No, you're right.
What top team have England?
We beat Germany. We beat Germany at Wembley. Obviously, we did beat Denmark, but they're probably just below that category of top teams. Every other time we played, we got beat by.
At the time, Germany weren't the Germany they are now. At the time, Germany were nowhere near it. Not saying that Germany, they're an amazing team right now, but they're definitely better now than they were back then.
They had an Asian team there.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Now they got a new crop of players coming through that look really good. Wirtz, Musiala, even obviously Kai Havertz is refreshed and regenerated this year. But yeah, man, it's horrible to watch. And like you said, Henry, like that second half zapped the life out of me, man. It was so destroying watching that. Højbjerg, who we all want out of Tottenham, completely dominated the whole of the.
He got man of the match.
Yeah, I know, and rightfully, deservedly so. And this is a guy that we're all screaming to get out of our club. It just goes to show how poor we are when we're letting a guy. Not to say Højbjerg's not a scrub. Don't get me wrong; he's a decent player, but there's no way he should be controlling and dictating a game like that.
No, you are right. I even feel sorry for Trent because Trent's almost being scapegoated a little bit. Look, I actually, when he played in some of the qualifiers and friendlies in midfield, I was quite impressed. So I'm someone that isn't going to sit there now and speak out of both sides of my mouth and say, why has this experiment been done? Because I was someone that asked for it. But we've seen it in genuine competitive games. And we all know that qualifiers are not the same as like tournament football. We all know there's a difference. And it hasn't worked. But you see the difference between, and I don't like how people are sort of, Trent's the reason. No, Trent isn't the reason. The position he's being played in is the reason. He's a right back that can invert. He is not a central midfielder. That experiment has been done. It should never be done by any. Maybe now we're getting the answers to why Jurgen Klopp never did it and why Jurgen Klopp was quite frustrated when Southgate did it, because we all know that the biggest weakness within Trent, I know you use the word scanning earlier. My brother uses that word quite a lot. And just to let everyone know, my brother is not a hipster. He's a 40-year-old bald man who watches Leighton Orient. But he uses the term scanning because...
Or checking your mirrors. That's a more older term.
Yeah, but my brother uses scan. My brother said it the other day. He goes, like, we need a player that can scan and see what's going on. I said, scan? So where did you learn that? The manager at Leighton Orient plays very good. Richie Wellens, that's the word he uses, and it's in their mindset. And that's at that level. So the fact that the real managers are using it goes to show it's a real thing. But aside from that, like we know his defensive awareness in Trent is never been. I don't think it just doesn't see danger. He doesn't sense danger. When it comes to defending, he's a bit like a toddler standing by the side of the road. You know they could walk out at any second and get hit by a car because they don't sense the danger. And that's the only real weakness in his game, in my opinion. This hasn't worked. But if you look at Portugal, first game, 3 fullbacks played. They looked so disjointed. They weren't close to Ronaldo. It looked awful. It looked fundamentally awful. They made changes in the second game, and they looked brilliant. They looked solid. They looked good in the attack. And they've given themselves confidence going into their third and final game, which they don't even need to win because they've already qualified. We haven't done that. We're going into this final group game, and it feels like we're already through to the next round. 4 points is going to be enough, even if we lose, to get through, in my opinion. But we've had not a moment of performance that has made us feel I'm excited about playing somebody in the knockout. I want to feel excited going into the knockout stages. Yes, if we get a France or a Germany or a Spain, we are the underdogs. We all know this. But I want to feel at least like we could win. We're not favourites, but we could win. And that's why the performance has got to be there tomorrow night. It just has to be.